Howdy, and welcome to Broken Tool Garage. Yeah, we were 80 degrees 2 days ago, and we dropped from 80 to 20 degrees in like a day. So now the shop's all cold and I'm dressed warm. So this is going to be one of these design, create, test videos, and what I'm going to be going over is the little Mopar little turn signal indicator hoo-yah things. I looked at these, and they used to not be all that expensive, and then I was glad I was sitting down when I looked at a new set because it's nuts. So we're going to go through and do the creation process in SolidWorks for the part, and we're also going to go through 3D print it and then look at what we got done. Now, I am not trying to make it exactly the same. If you need that, you can go buy that, right? So this is kind of my take on that can be easily 3D printed and be adapted to an automobile that didn't have one of these, or if you are replacing one. Yeah, well, let's get to looking at it. Okay, outside, winter, sun and face. Got the old 78 Aspen, so that's what I'm basing it off of. I think it's pretty close to the A-body. Now here's the thing, I have 4 of these fenders, and 3 of them had the provisions for these. You know, we got this, the 3rd one. And the 4th one didn't even have a provision for it, so that's kind of odd. Let's walk over here, the non-moldy. We'll just kind of compare them right quick, right? So you see all that's all crumb in. You can buy these glasses in there. I think there was around $40 or something like that. But man, if you got to buy the whole piece, yeah, you better be sitting down. But here we go. We can kind of look at it side by side there, what they're looking like. So pretty similar. So this will fit into the same location. I got pictures of that fitting in there, and then the one that I have right here, this is gonna, when I sell the kits, it'll be an LED in there and all the mounting hardware to make that work. All right, that needs to be covered back up, and let's go inside because it's still like 20-something degrees with the wind blowing out here. Okay, here's our part, and I am not a SolidWorks expert, so some of y'all who are watching this that are, you might cringe a little bit, but we're going to get there, right? So we have this completely done with all their fillets, radii, and all that stuff on there. We're just going to take our little tree and just go up to the very bottom. So this is where I started. It's making I call it a boat right there. Then I went in and drafted the edges, right? Get to move. We put our little angle in the back right there, and then I shelled it. Now, the problem with that is I kind of want a little bit of a lip around the edge of the bottom, and I ended up putting that down towards the bottom of that. And if we look at our planes, I end up drawing on a plane and just doing a little add-on. It's probably not the most efficient way of doing it, but it got her done, right? So you see how I added that right there with that extrude. And we just had our chamfer on that, fillets and all that. And then we come in and I did this boss extrude right here to add our completely solid little column in there for the mounting. I think I missed one. There's this fillet right there. It is. I put a big fat fillet in there to round that. That also helps with bridging. So the only thing I'm bridging is this little wedge piece in here. So that helps out a lot with that. And then it's just cuts and extrudes and chamfers and all that, just to put our holes in there from there. That right there, this was a little tricky to get to. So to do that, I had to kind of figure out what angle it had to be and play with that. Let's open up the chamfer here. So I did a 60 thousandths in a 28 degree, and that fits. It goes down there good and gets the screw to sit pretty much in there flush. It does sit up a little bit higher, but I think that's going to depend on the actual screw that you get, and you know, everyone's going to make it a little bit differently, but that's what I found works for that. And there we go. You can just play with this if you're going to make your own, but this is what I come up with right here.